guys, welcome to Bastian time. Welcome to This Week in Zelda News. It's me, Bastian. Let's get to those top stories. So first of all, the most exciting news apart from an announcement of a Zelda game that we could possibly get is that Nintendo of America has relented and heard the pleas of fans, and they are now allowing Hyrule Historia to be released in English and possibly several other languages as well. It sounds like they were working with Dark Horse Comics, or I guess it's just Dark Horse, and together they arrived at a plan to go ahead and make that happen. That's especially kind of exciting for me because Dark Horse is headquartered in my hometown, so I think I might try to finagle maybe an interview or something fun like that. And in fact, back when I was a kid and I was in Writers Club, we took a tour of Dark Horse. This was a million years ago, and when Dark Horse was just first coming on the scene of comics, and that was pretty exciting as a young, hopeful writer. But anyways, it's awesome news that we're finally going to get that amazing book in English, and what's super awesome about Zelda fans is that they've already pre-ordered the heck out of it. It's for $34.99 on Amazon, but they have a pre-order special for $20.99, and so far Zelda fans have pre-ordered it so much that it's now #1 on their bestseller list, which thankfully has knocked 50 Shades of Grey down a few rungs. So that's awesome. Good job, Zelda fans, and let me know in the comments if you're picking up a copy. Our next bit of news is also pretty frickin' exciting. It's that, again, Nintendo of America has finally relented and now has made the gold Nunchuck available to Club Nintendo members, so that way you can have a matching set of your gold Zelda Wiimote and now your gold Nunchuck. Unfortunately, though, they're out of stock right now. But they're likely to replenish that supply, and as soon as I heard about this, I went into my Club Nintendo account and found out I didn't have enough points to order it, so but hopefully they'll get it back in stock and I will have purchased a bazillion more Nintendo games and I'll have enough points. Next up is a Twitter campaign whose sole purpose is to try to convince the Smash Bros. Creators to include Skull Kid in the next Smash Bros. Game. It'd be pretty interesting, but I can't really imagine what his attacks would really be like. If you have any suggestions as far as how he could be a playable character and what sort of attacks he'd have, go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. So our next story is about a website, and what it does is sort of takes an extraordinarily detailed look into the localization process for the original Legend of Zelda, to sort of see what those Englishy lines are all about, and it's unveiled a whole wealth of information. Now, I was already aware of quite a few of these tidbits from the fan translator Glitterberry's website. This particular website sort of also takes a look at not just the instruction manual and the in-game text, but a lot of promotional materials and things along those lines, so it's pretty fascinating stuff. One of the most interesting things that it covered is something that frustrated the heck out of me when I was a kid, which is, in the instruction manual, it mentions that Pols voice don't like loud sounds because of their big ears or something like that. And so I would constantly play the recorder anytime I encountered a Pols voice, and it never had any effect on them whatsoever. And that was the only thing that I could think of that would create a loud sound. But it turns out that this is a relic from the original version of the game, which is a disc version, not the cartridge version, but the disc version back in Japan. And in that version, that console had the second controller had a mic built into it, so if you would blow into the mic or make a loud sound at the mic on the second controller, it would instantly kill all the Pols voice. That would have been awesome for them to realize that that wouldn't work on the American ones that didn't have mics and maybe change that up a bit. But anyways, it reveals a lot of interesting facts and tidbits, so definitely check out that website. The link is down below. Our next story is sort of about the Olympics. A website went ahead and decided to analyze which Nintendo characters would have won gold medals in the Olympics if they had competed, and Link, of course, was one of those video game characters analyzed. And I mean, equestrian stuff, because he's awesome at riding horses. I guess fencing, but fencing's a little different than the type of fighting that he does with the sword. There are so many things that he would be good at. He's fairly gymnastically inclined as well. But what the gold medal is that they gave to him was for archery, which he deserves because he's a fantastic archer in pretty much every game. Well, I guess that's all depending on how good of an archer you are, and I am kind of terrible, so I give Link a bad rep. Next up is a hilarious video. It's somebody who impersonates Christopher Walken and does walk-in-throughs of various video games, and in this one he does the original Legend of Zelda, and it's great. You should definitely check this out. Our next two stories are extraordinarily similar for the fact that they both have sort of stolen a Zelda theme. It's both Comedy Central in the UK and the new Pitfall version for the iOS, so for your iPhone, basically. And in both of those instances, they've stolen the Get Item theme from the very first Zelda game. I'm not really sure how they can get away with that. It's not like they've re-recorded a new version of the theme or something. They actually ripped the exact music file out of that game, so yeek. Our next story is about a fan-made mod of a game called... I have no idea what the original game is called, to be perfectly honest with you, but it's a mod of some sort of game called Total War. I mean, the title Total War, I think, is in the original game, but anyways, it's Hyrule Total War, and so basically it looks like a strategy game where you can pit various armies, like a bunch of Zora against a bunch of Stalfos, or the Twili against Deku's, or, you know, it's a kind of a strategy game pitting armies against each other. In this particular video, they show Fi leading an army of Hylians battling Girahim and his army of the Goblins, so kind of looks fun. I'm not so much for strategy games, but I might give this a shot. And then our final story is about the Zelda Western mashup called Fistful of Rupees, which is sort of the parody of Fistful of Dollars, an old Western film taking place in Hyrule, in a westernized version of Hyrule. It's pretty great. You definitely should check it out. It's a 3-part series. It's not so long, but a lot of fun to watch. So that's it for this week in Zelda news. Check back here in just a few days and we'll have a new episode of This Week in Nintendo News, which will, as usual, have quite a few Zelda leftover stories. So see you then, guys. Bye. And if you blew into that mic in the second controller, it would instantly kill the B-hats. Oh, whoops, this was Pole's voice. I meant Pole's voice. Anyways, I'm not going to re-record that, we'll just say Pole's voice, yeah. Okay, let's re-record that.